I'm Rob.
And I'm Ron.
And this is The Recap, your source for unbiased, unfiltered esports news.
And for our first ever story that we're bringing to you guys, Overwatch has created an Overwatch League, which is giant steps for esports.
Yep, bringing structure to the whole thing.
They're basically regionalizing esports, kind of like how sports are. So you're going to have cities representing teams. And this is not just in the United States, but across the world.
Yep. Currently 12 teams for this first session of the Overwatch League. 9 of them are going to be American teams. And then we have one from Korea, one from China, and one from London.
Yep. Some of the American teams that we show some favor towards, because we're pretty big Call of Duty guys, is Optic and Envious. They're going to be both representing Texas, which is kind of cool. If you know Optic and Envy's history, they're known rivals, and it's kind of funny that they're both in the same state. You have Optic representing Houston and Envy representing Dallas. Yep. So it'll be funny to see.
Be a lifelong rivalry.
Yeah, no I mean, doubt. It's gonna be cool to watch.
And then one interesting team is going to be Comcast. They're actually buying a team out, which they don't even have like a roster yet. They just signed up and said, yeah, we want a chance to be in this league. So.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting because one thing that Overwatch is doing, which is pretty cool, that also I don't think has been done, is they're going to open a combine where they're going to have all these players come out to the combine and let all of these owners and organizations watch them compete at this combine and kind of get familiar with some of the faces and some of the players to see which ones they'd want on their teams.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
I kind of wonder how they're going to completely organize that, like how they're going to pick the guys that get to come.
Yeah.
If you have to have like a lot of experience or
like in past
if you
tournaments
can
or
somehow just like buy your way in almost and then
that's true or
show
like
your grit.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting to see like Comcast, like these big names are starting to get into it. Yeah. Some of the other big names are sport names, which is kind of cool. With some of the teams on the Overwatch that already have confirmed spots in the 12, you have owners that are like the owners of the New York Mets or like the New England Patriots, like
Rams,
Denver Nuggets. And then you have like really big names, which I guess that can lead us to our next story with investors. You have like J-Lo, Alex Rodriguez, Marshawn Lynch, all throwing money at Energy.
Yep.
That is pretty interesting. I mean, those are names that you don't think would even know what esports are.
Yeah, they probably never even touched a controller, but they see the money in it, so they're ready to throw down. And then also, if you haven't heard, the Hirsch family, which is an investment group, they actually have invested $35 million in Envious, which is pretty insane.
That's such a huge amount of money. Like, if I'm literally an owner, I'm like, oh my God, like, what do I do with this money?
I know, that's crazy. Like, and a lot of these investments have been like groups of people like piling their money together, but this is literally just one investment group just throwing it at Envious. Which is crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I would say risking it all, but personally, I don't think it's a risk. I think esports is if I had 35 mil, I'd throw 35 mil.
I would easily.
And then another kind of confirmed one is C9 is getting close to closing in on 25 million. And that's with like the Golden State Warriors co-owner. But then you also have Joe Montana in the mix of that, which he's an old school 49ers QB. And that's just another guy. Even the older guys are still understanding esports and want to get involved, which is kind of cool.
Yep. I think the fact that you see these people investing and the fact that you see Overwatch or Blizzard, I guess, trying to like actually structure the competitions, it just shows you that people are ready to actually take this stuff serious.
Yeah, it's like a lot more stable. Like it's like not as risky. There's still a risk, but
finding GBs and trying to grind your way up and then
winning tournament money.
Get into a random tournament in your state. Yeah.
I guess we can move on to our next story. And since esports is getting so big, you have new opportunities for everything. I mean, even like graphics designers making logos to people like us trying to report news. And
that can transition us basically to this next story.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys saw it, but on Twitter, Hastro kind of proposed a question, and it kind of opened the eyes to some people that might kind of be behind the closed doors that don't really see what's going on behind the scenes. It did for me, at least. Yeah. He basically tweeted out how does the community feel about investors investing, or sorry, like teams investing into news companies.
Yeah. And basically, he wasn't calling anybody out in particular. However, some dude, Greg, on Twitter, kind of mentioned that Envy might be feeding money into, what's that news? Deserto. And then he said, no, not us, but maybe Optic.
Yeah, kind of like he said it's the other way around, I think.
Yep.
And then that's when Deserto, Mike Kent, he's one of the journalists on Deserto, he basically said, like, he instantly saw the feed going on. He probably saw what was coming. He got into the conversation, and he said, maybe we write about Optic more often because Optic has, like, the biggest fan base, which is probably true in both of the sense, but I also see where Hastro's coming from, that it is a question of ethics.
Yeah.
Where it's like, do we write more stories or stories favorable towards Optic because they're feeding us some money? I mean,
yeah.
it is a little sketchy.
And I think Optic or Hastro is good to question it, but I think at this point in like esports, people aren't actually that biased. They're not trying to get dirty already. So I think down the road this might be a problem, but right now I honestly don't think it's going to be a huge deal.
Yeah, and we actually went on Deserto's website because we were interested. We counted stories. I think we counted over 100.
Yeah.
And there was only 10 that were about Optic.
Yep.
So I'm not exactly sure what Hastro saw, but Hastro is a well-known guy in the community. He's very honest. I feel like something had to have triggered him.
Yeah.
So I mean, one of his tweets was like, I just don't care if Scumpy got a chicken dinner last night as a headline, which is true. Like, I mean, there's so many more things you can report on than Scumpy getting a chicken dinner, which we couldn't find that story, so I don't know if it was
Hopefully
in there or
not,
but,
true, but
it's interesting. If he was being like sarcastic and exaggerating, I mean, good for him, whatever. Let's see. The next story we got, we're moving on to League of Legends.
Yep.
They finished the play-in rounds
for Worlds.
Yeah, so there was
final 16 teams.
Yeah.
And basically the final four teams just got confirmed. So we're going to have C9, Fnatic, Fenerbahce, which I've never even heard of, but apparently it's like a football team that funded a esports team. And then WE or We.
Yeah, not sure how to pronounce that either. We searched everywhere at what WE stands for and couldn't find it, but
maybe some of you guys know better than us.
Yeah, we're not super into League of Legends. We will want to definitely venture off into it, but these are your four teams moving on into the final 16, right? Yeah, Overwatch is 12 and League of Legends is 16 for Worlds. And each one of these teams are going to move into a group now. There's 4 groups. 4
groups of 4.
Yep, A, B, C, and D.
Best of 1, and each group is going to basically play within the group, every team within the group once.
Yeah, which when we saw best of 1, we thought that was kind of odd.
Yep.
Just because it's a best of 1. I mean, you have so much wagering on these matches that a best of 1 could totally ruin you. One bad game.
Down to luck.
Yeah, one bad game and see you later. Like, we almost kind of think that it's going to favor the underdogs more because when you have teams like SK Telecom who have won multiple times in the Worlds, and a team like C9 who just barely made it this year, maybe C9 can pull off a win over SK Telecom because they're in the same group. So it'll be interesting to see.
Get lucky, get better picks. Maybe get fed, and then it's over for SK Telecom.
Yeah, it spirals out of control. But yeah, so once group play finishes, there's going to be only 8 teams making it out of group play, and that's when it transitions into the best of 5. So yeah, the top 2 teams from each group are going to move out into what's called the knockout stage, which, like I said, turns into the best of 5 and then gets down to the nit and gritty final champion.
Yep.
Final story. This one we thought was kind of interesting, definitely for gamers that are watching this channel.
You probably never heard of it.
Yeah, if you're ever out in Taiwan, we just thought it was really cool. Maybe, I mean, who knows? Maybe this will venture off into the United States, but there's actually something called an iHotel, which, believe it or not, is literally a hotel favored towards gamers. So your room is actually going to have a souped-up PC, a DX Racer chair, a mouse and keyboard.
2 of everything.
2 of everything. Yeah, so you and a friend.
Yep.
Which
and we're
is
not talking
nuts.
like a nice PC. We're talking like a amazing PC with a GTX 1080, which is far better than my setup. And yeah,
far better than mine. I
just-
play on a laptop, which is shameful.
and overall, like they're asking $75 for 15 hours or $12 on the hour, which for that equipment, I don't know how they're making their money back. It just seems
expensive
like
stuff,
outrageous. Yeah. And then we couldn't find a price for like actually spending the night there, but since it's $75 for 15 hours, we're thinking maybe $120, $130 for a night.
Yeah, probably something around there. But it's interesting. I mean, the future of gaming is coming. I mean, it's already starting over there. Maybe it'll trinkle over here.
And if like Taiwan has a competition over there, people are gonna book.
Yeah,
the
they're gonna be
hell
staying
out
in
of
those
that
hotels.
Hotel. Yeah.
I mean, just think about flying. Like literally, you wouldn't have to
bring anything.
like. It's gonna save you so much money on
Yeah.
just travel because you're gonna have to that's one less bag. So we'll see how it goes. But that's all we have for you this week. We're gonna get back to gaming, and I'm sure you guys will too. We're gonna leave you with our best highlight from last week. So check that out, and have a good rest of your day.
Peace out.